The FNAF movie cast just got revealed along with Scott Cawthon finally returning and even some FNAF Plus news. So in the past few days, there's been a ton of FNAF events that have happened, like the Security Breach's 1-year anniversary and the YouTuber Dalko's charity livestream where a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's news was unveiled, especially with the movie that's supposed to release next year in 2023 if everything goes to plan. But first, let's talk about the official FNAF remake, Five Nights at Freddy's Plus. On Dalko's charity stream, the FNAF Plus creator gave him a meme build of the game as a troll. However, in this footage, we can actually see both what the menu for FNAF Plus will look like and also what the intro starting screen will look like too. And while we don't get to see any real gameplay, wow, that intro screen honestly looks amazing. It has a very new and refreshed aesthetic, but still very much feels true to the original Five Nights at Freddy's. So that just makes me more hyped for the title when it finally does release, hopefully sometime in the next year, but there's no confirmations as of now. Anyway, next up, while I don't like to talk about FNAF merch, guys, the Pillow Pet is finally available for pre-order after so many months, so you guys already know what to do. No, real talk, I actually love this design, and even though I'm almost 20, I might have to pick up a Pillow Pet for myself. Moving on, if you guys actually read the FNAF books, they've officially announced that there's going to be a 6 Tales from the Pizza Place book releasing next May. How many FNAF books even are there at this point? It's actually getting insane. Anyway, moving to the main part of this video, let's talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie news. So a couple days ago, it was actually FNAF Security Breach's 1-year anniversary on December 16th, and while there wasn't any ruined DLC news or anything like what most people were probably expecting from Steel Wool, instead, to celebrate, the creators of the upcoming FNAF movie, Blumhouse Productions, would release an article on Deadline confirming that the actors Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard were casted for the FNAF movie as unnamed characters set to film literally this February in like a couple months. Now, to be honest, I was genuinely surprised to hear this news because for what seems like years now, the FNAF movie has been nothing more than an urban legend. I mean, they first announced it in 2015, which is 7 years ago at this point, and ever since it's just been flopping around studios and producers throughout the past almost decade with nothing really ever getting done. The movie would either keep getting delayed or scrapped or dropped by the producer, and it was just a big crazy mess, and it didn't seem like the movie was ever going to come out. But now they're beginning to cast people for filming, so it seems like it's actually going to become a reality, especially since, like I mentioned, the YouTuber Dalko recently held a charity live stream where inside, the Five Nights at Freddy's creator himself, Scott Cawthon, would actually make his grand return after quite a while, saying in his YouTube chat, "Check your email, I sent you some donation incentives to use." Or in other words, if the charity raised enough money, Scott was going to reveal brand new, never before seen info about the movie. And a few hours following, after the live stream reached $45,000 in donations, Scott revealed to us 4 new casting members for the upcoming movie. First, he confirmed to us that Matthew Lillard was going to specifically be playing William Afton, and also that Josh Hutcherson will be playing Mike Schmidt / Michael Afton. And following this, we would get 2 brand new character reveals as well, with it being announced that Piper Rubio will be playing Mike's sister Abby, and finally Mary Stuart Materson will be playing an unnamed villain of some sort as well. This is all obviously really cool information, but it then begins to bring up a couple of burning questions. 1, who in the world is Abby? I've never even heard of her. And 2, who is this unnamed villain also supposedly inside of the movie? Well, let's start with this random Abby character. Now, I don't really follow FNAF lore outside of the occasional game theory video, but I don't recognize the name Abby at all, so I immediately wondered who this could actually be, especially since she's casted as Mike's sister when Mike's actual sister in the FNAF franchise, as far as I know, is Elizabeth Afton, not Abby. So it seems really weird that they would just change her name for the sake of the film with no other real context. Well, following this, people were quick to theorize and even clarify that the name Abby is actually in some cases used as a nickname for the name Elizabeth as well, which would make obvious sense assuming Abby is supposed to be Elizabeth herself. And also, as an added bonus, Abby is actually an anagram for baby, possibly being a subliminal reference to Elizabeth Afton's animatronic counterpart, Circus Baby. But it's incredibly odd that they, for whatever reason, decided to hide Elizabeth's name behind this new alias Abby. And in fact, I've seen some theorize that maybe she had to change her name for the sake of anonymity for whatever reason inside of the movie, or even that potentially we could be entirely wrong and Abby is some random new character they decided to to throw in for whatever reason. I mean, I guess weirder things have happened in video game films, but I digress. Anyway, the next question I had is, who in the world is this mysterious unnamed villain casted as Mary for the film? And why did they bother to keep her identity entirely anonymous? Well, the first theory that comes to mind is that this anonymous character is Vanessa from Security Breach. It would make sense on paper because Vanessa has a lot of lore importance and it would fit well into the film. And also the actor has blonde hair just like Vanessa, so that adds up pretty well. However, Vanessa in-game is only 23 while the actor herself is 56, which feels like a large enough age gap to the point where it's noticeably out of place. So I don't really think it could be Vanessa or anything like that. I've seen some other outlandish theories like a female Afton or maybe even a new character entirely, but I think that if I had to guess, she's probably going to play or voice act one of the animatronics like Chica or even Ballora, just because we haven't really heard anything about the animatronics inside of the movie. And since we already theorized that Elizabeth Afton is probably going to be in the film, I don't think it's a stretch to say maybe toys like Ballora could actually have speaking roles in the film too. But if I'm being honest, I can't really be sure, especially since we don't even know when the movie is going to take place. I do still find it really weird though that they would decide to reveal this character but never give them any official name. If I had to guess, they're probably hiding her name so that way people like me overthink it and pretend it means something way more important than it actually does. But maybe there's some characters in the film we aren't supposed to know about until it finally releases. And maybe they're keeping this character anonymous until then, just in case there's some sort of twist or something in the actual movie's plot. I don't know, I'm probably just overthinking it. But anyway, outside of the announced cast, people also theorize that there might be another unlisted secret member playing inside of the movie as well, being none other than Scott Cawthon himself. Because once again, while Dawko was live streaming, later on he would get an anonymous donation of $10,000 out of absolute random, with no context or even a thank you message. And what's interesting is that the anonymous donation was sent by the alias of none other than Phone Guy, which is obviously leading people to believe that this donation was made by none other than Scott Cawthon, the Phone Guy voice actor himself. Now, it's by no means unusual for Scott to be generous and donate to Dawko. He's actually done it multiple times. But why this time did he use the alias Phone Guy of all things instead of his normal name? Well, simply put, people are theorizing that maybe Scott could be teasing that he has a cameo inside of the FNAF movie as well, being, of course, the classic and all-around loved Phone Guy. I mean, it makes a lot of sense in my opinion as a theory, even if there really isn't all that much proof to back it up outside of just one donation. But I mean, who else would donate $10,000 anonymously just to make people think Phone Guy could be inside of the movie? I don't know, it seems too good to just be a coincidence. I'm also hoping this potentially opens up more cameo appearances for this movie as well, like Markiplier or even MatPat, because that would make the film a million times more personal in the best way, and I think everybody is asking for that at this point. I don't know if they'd actually do that, but I think it'd be a really cool full circle moment to have the people who originally made Five Nights at Freddy's so popular be inside their magnum opus film production that's been in the works for years. But looking overall, 2023 is looking like an absolute insane year for FNAF. With the Security Breach Ruin DLC that is already looking super promising, the FNAF Plus remake that I cannot wait for, and finally, of course, there's this new movie that honestly feels like a fever dream. I can't believe it's finally coming out next year. But let me know what you guys are most excited for about the FNAF movie in the comments below. Subscribe and peace.